Prince Harry has been accused of harassment and bullying at scale by the boss of a charity he helped set up. Earlier this week, the Duke of Sussex announced he was stepping down as a trustee of Sentebale, which he set up in honour of his mother, Princess Diana. And now Sentebale chair Dr. Sophie Chandauka has spoken out against him in an interview with Sky News.
At some point on Tuesday, Prince Harry authorised the release of a damaging piece of news to the outside world without informing me, or my country directors, or my executive director. And can you imagine what that attack has done for me, on me, and the 540 individuals in the Sentebale organizations and their family? That is an example of harassment and bullying at scale.
Now, I must say that Prince Harry has not offered a statement in response to this, but a source close to him said the accusations are, quote, completely baseless. And a former trustee of his said that in his experience, there was never even a hint of that. And we're now joined by royal biographer Angela Levin. Angela, thank you for joining us, particularly at short notice like this. What do you make of these allegations?
Well, they're fascinating, actually. I think a lot of it is to do with they didn't get on very well. And they were also, Dr. Chandauka was also very, very annoyed with Meghan. I'd just go through it quite quickly, that Harry had stopped going to school and desperately unhappy about his mother. And King Charles thought he should go to Africa. He went there and he saw this group of orphans whose parents had died from IVF or something, HIV or something like that. And he stayed there and he met up with the prince under Prince Sioso, who'd also lost his mother. So they built this charity. And it's been his love. He's loved it so much. He talked to me a lot about it when I was writing his biography. But he hadn't been there for 6 years. And he hadn't done so very much. And it's difficult if you're in America and you should be in Africa. It's quite hard. So they got into a sort of really nasty discussion between Dr. Sophie, who people think is wonderful and very talented, and other people who think Harry is the same. But they both think there's a negative and a positive there. And it's an extraordinary attack on each other. It started off with Meghan, actually, because they had a polo game to raise money for this charity. And Meghan got very, very cross when Dr. Chandauka tried to sit in the middle when they won the award. And she kept trying to push her out the way. And she actually wasn't that sort of woman you could do that to, and got very, very annoyed with her. And the public could see Meghan was pushing her out. So she was asked if she would help the press say how wonderful Meghan is, and she got very cross about that too. So what we've left with is Dr. Chandauka saying that we've got to do things with these children and we mustn't be told what we're doing. And it's absolutely the way people are speaking and handling this are shocking. And Harry, who is desperately unhappy. But there's no legal action on Harry. But she says that she's been very badly bullied, and especially directed at black women, which actually, you can imagine, stand very badly with Harry and
Angela, of course, they both, at the moment, we understand they deny these claims. I'm just going to bring in my co-panellist here, Will Kingston. Will's got a question for you. Will, take it away.
Yeah, Angela, when these stories pop up, there is this narrative that emerges that Harry is maybe a bit naive, a bit dim, but still fundamentally a decent bloke who's been led astray by awful Meghan. To what extent do you actually think Harry is his own man, or to what extent do you think that narrative perhaps has a grain of truth to it?
Well, I knew him quite well. I was with him for 15 months when I wrote his book. I thought he was terrific, and he had tremendous sense about how to deal with children and people, very good. All that's gone when he met Meghan. I think she's taken every inch of his ability away from him. And he's scared of her, and so he doesn't know what to do. So his life is very, very difficult.
Have you been getting a load of spam in your email recently? What about random calls? It's really annoying, isn't it? Data brokers are out there collecting your personal information. Anything from your email, your full name, your address, and even your political affiliation. Cyber criminals can even use AI to mimic the voices of friends and family to trick people into sending them money. And it gets even worse. People out there are getting huge loans taken out in their names without even knowing about it. But don't worry, because the sponsor of this video, Incogni, can help. They reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information is removed from their databases. Incogni continues to make sure that your data is removed automatically from the internet via repeated removal requests. So, how can you get started? Well, step 1, hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account and tell us whose data you'd like removed. Step 2, grant Incogni the right to work on your behalf. Step 3, sit back, relax and watch Incogni work. They will update consistently so you know when your data has been removed. Incogni is risk-free for 30 days, so you can try it for yourself and you'll get a free refund if the service isn't for you. So take back your personal data today with Incogni. Use the code GBNews using the link in the description below and you'll get 60% off an annual payment plan.
Renee, did you want to have a question for Angela as well?
Hi, Angela. Just very quickly, the story goes, if we listen to Dr. Chandauka, that he made his announcement last week without any consultation with the charity. That in itself is just naive and poor management, isn't it?
That's true. That is true. But I think he was probably at the end of his, he couldn't bear things. I mean, he's had a very bad time actually lately, hasn't he? And I think he doesn't think about other people. He doesn't know quite what to do. I don't know how much he dislikes her, but I don't know how much she dislikes him. But the whole thing seems rather childish, that they couldn't sit down and actually discuss it all and be sensible about it.
Angela, sorry, Angela, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there because we have to move on. I really appreciate you coming on at such short notice. That's really helpful. Thank you, Angela. Take care. Look, this is massive, isn't it? And this is going to be all over the Sundays.
It's massive.
This is going to... I mean, I suppose we could have seen something coming given what happened earlier in the week, but this is explosive. Kai, what do you reckon?
You're totally right. And what's really sad, actually, about this is that mention of the Sussex machine. This is history repeating itself, isn't it? The royal family machine, the PR and media machine that has grown around it in the last few decades is insatiable. Of course, Harry and Meghan could leave the royal family, but they couldn't leave behind the way that they manipulate the media, the way in which they try to shape public opinion. I think it's sort of quite disturbing, really. Yeah, I think this is just a consequence of that, isn't it?
I think the disturbing thing is that Harry and Meghan are insufferable, obnoxious, nasty, arrogant.
Tell us how you really feel.
Arrogant, bullies.
But you like them otherwise.
And I think everyone now knows it. Like, this isn't the first time we've heard about bullying. I asked about Meghan because normally the bullying allegations are against Meghan specifically. But obviously, where there's smoke, there's a heck of a lot of fire here. They're both awful.
But you know what?
Keep them out of the country for as long as
But you know what? I don't think Prince Harry was awful. I think he was one of those blokes down the pub with his mates and everything. I don't think he was. But I think he's been sucked into this Meghan PR machine. And I actually feel sorry for him. I actually think he's going to end up a broken man. And I think we should worry about him from that perspective.
Renee, he needs to take accountability for his actions. I'm sorry. Like, you can't say, because he's married a witch, suddenly, therefore, he's abrogating
also, Renee,
any responsibility.
What did you make of Spare? I mean, you don't have to read it cover to cover. I'm sure it's a thrilling read, but there was some really quite interesting stuff in there.
They were, but it wasn't really levied against him, was it, in that book? It really wasn't. You know what, I think, as we said, using the word spare, I think the spare is always a problematic role, especially if it's inhabited by a man, it would seem, because Princess Anne did okay, but the men haven't done so well. Prince Andrew, Harry,
So let's just return to what Prince Harry said earlier in the week, because I think it's important context. So he said it is devastating that the relationship between the charity's trustees and the chair of the board broke down beyond repair, creating an untenable situation. Although we may no longer be patrons, we will always be its founders, and we will never forget what this charity is capable of achieving when it is in the right care. Harry, the younger son of King Charles, of course, co-founded Sentebale in 2006 in honour of his mother, Princess Diana, 9 years after she was killed in a Paris car crash. Luke, I'm just going to bring you in on this very quickly. What do you make of this one?
All I say is that we've seen time and again accusations of bullying being used to go after people and essentially as an attempted character assassination. So I would be sceptical of people calling others, accusing them of bullying and so on. We've seen it, especially with politicians, civil servants will often use that. So I think with these claims, we need to maybe wait for the evidence to come out, because often it can just be an easy way to get at someone and have their name with negative headlines.
You are completely right that there's always more to the story than meets the eye. And I think,
but if this was an isolated allegation, that's one thing. But this isn't the first time we've heard bullying against the Sussexes.
Yeah, I should just point out that Meghan was accused of bullying too, but she denies it, and so it's looking pretty messy, isn't it?
I mean, look, I've just shown you a headline that says Harry demanded Africa charity boss publicly defend Meghan, and it always comes back to their coupling, doesn't it? And Meghan's reputation.
Look, this is going to be. I would guess this is all over the Sundays, and it's going to ripple on for quite a long time.